many women who are practicing yoga for years suddenly notice something has changed in their 40s and 50s. Or you ask yourself, should I even start doing yoga from zero if I am over 40 or 50? But what is changing? Your body may feel weaker, less stable. You may even start having pelvic floor issues. And you may even notice that now it's easier for you to injure yourself while doing exactly the same movement you've been doing for years before. So women ask themselves, should I do yoga? Should I continue or should I start from zero? Is it still enough for my body during perimenopause and menopause and after? After more than 16 years of teaching yoga and myself practicing it for more than 20 years and being a midlife woman as well, I can tell you this: yoga is still incredibly valuable for women in menopause. But the way we practice it should evolve. We need to be more conscious about it. And today I will explain 3 things. What does yoga still doing beautifully for our body in menopause? What may no longer serve us? And how can you adopt your practice to serve better your overall health, your hormonal health, your joints, your stability, and your nervous system? So we'll know that hormones change and they fluctuate during perimenopause and menopause. But what it means for our body, it means that we start having less collagen. And collagen is responsible for our tissues' elasticity. So it directly influences our tendons, our ligaments, our muscles, our joints, and our recovery capacity. And our muscle force slowly decreases with age. We start losing our muscle mass. That is why you can notice some instability, you can notice your body responds in a different way, the same yoga practice you've been doing for years before. Or if you start from zero, you can actually feel vulnerable and unstable doing all these postures that seem so easy when you look at and then so difficult to do. It's a piece of my personal story. It happened to me 2 years ago. I was practicing yoga. It was not the beginning of my session, so I was warmed up. I was feeling well. And suddenly, when I was doing this half moon posture, I'm literally doing for more than 20 years, and I wasn't doing it in a very profound way. It was really basic. In the moment when I was opening my hips, I felt a deep crack in my hip. I felt an immediate acute pain that was really shocking to me. It was very strong. It made me fall down on the floor screaming. I was screaming from pain. I didn't know what happened. I've ended up having an acute pain literally all the time from my hip joint along my hip down to the knee for almost 2 years. I was visiting my physiologist. I was doing massages. I was doing everything. And we didn't quite understand what was happening. And then at the same time, I was going on with my strength training. There were times that I had to stop doing some exercises like hinges. I was feeling too much pain in my hip, in my back side of the hip. So I was continuing after all. And now I'm not having this pain. Almost 2 years have passed, and just for 2 months that I'm okay. Maybe I can say I'm out of this problem. But what I was doing actually the same. I was going on with my strength training with progressive overload, and at the end, my body has recovered. But I am sure that it have taken me so long. It has happened in a strange way because my body is not the same as it was in my 30s. That's all. That's the only reason that stays at the basis of whatever has happened. And none of the doctors I have visited was able to clearly identify the root of this problem. As a woman in perimenopause, as a long-date yoga practitioner and a trainer and a yoga teacher, I've changed the way I use my yoga practice for my health and for my well-being. What does yoga extremely well? Always, for midlife women, the number one is nervous system regulation. In perimenopause and menopause, many women experiences difficulties with sleep. As an example, when our progesterone fluctuates, we are not sleeping well. and we can become irritable and exhausted. We can react to the same stressors in a very different way. And many women saying they don't recognize themselves and they don't like themselves while they're doing it. When they're exploding from zero, reacting to a small stressor like it's the end of the world. The second thing very important that yoga does for midlife women is a joint mobility, functional mobility, and stability. Even if you started from zero in your 50s, yoga will improve your coordination, your balance, your joint mobility. And this is so important when we are talking about the risk of falling. The risk of falling and risk of fractures as a consequence of falling. Working with the feet in a very conscious, in a detailed way is actually creating the basis, the physical basis of your stability. And as a chain from the feet, all your joints become more stable and coordinated. Yoga can do miracles with your feet. Trust me, even if it would be the only reason to do it, I would recommend it to all women over 40. The third thing, very important, is that yoga is developing our body awareness. It is called interoception. It's the way how we feel our body inside, meaning I become more conscious of what is happening when I'm doing exercises, when I'm doing yoga postures. I'm so tuned to my body and I'm doing it all the time so that at the end of the day, I'm feeling my body better. Why is it matters? It matters because we start being more conscious on what is happening to our body. It's a known fact that many women are not satisfied and they are not feeling heard by their medicians, by their doctors, their health providers, when they talk about their perimenopause and menopause symptoms. There is still a huge problem of medical providers that are minimizing the problem. So when we are conscious of our body, when we develop this interoception, we can be more secure of what is happening. We can be more informed, and we are talking to our medical provider. We can actually explain better what I'm feeling, when it's happening, what's the difference with how I was feeling a year ago. It also helps us to make better nutritional choices. We become more capable of differentiating appetite from hunger, which is so important if we want to maintain our weight. Just if I know that this is the appetite, I want to eat this, but I'm not hungry, it's so important because I will make a conscious choice of eating or not eating it after all. So in an indirect way, yoga can help you lose weight and control your appetite. So what we need to change doing yoga in our 40s and 50s and later. So yoga is not a problem. The problem can be when yoga is the only stimulus your body receives. And one of the problems that is so common among yoga practitioners is that they are doing too much stretching. It's so nice feeling your body so fluid and flexible, being able of doing these marvelous postures. Then you see, and I am guilty, when I was in my 30s, after a few years of doing yoga, I became so flexible and I was really enjoying that state of my physics. I was arching back, I was doing splits, I was doing also some strength postures, but I was enjoying doing all these impressive postures. It wasn't only romantic after all, because I've hurt myself more than once because I was doing some of these postures, some of the forward bends without any warm up. But now when I'm 45, I know that I don't need this anymore. But now, as I'm 45, being only flexible is not so sexy anymore. Now, what I need is stability, and my joints will probably not let me do this anymore. And if I try, I will need more warm up. I will need more time for preparing my body to do one posture just once in a deep way. And the actual question is, do I really need this? So when we are in the second half of life, our body benefits from functional mobility and functional flexibility, and then we need stability around the joint, and we need strength in our muscles, meaning I will definitely lose some of that exaggerated flexibility that I had 15 years ago. And I'm okay with that. The second point is that yoga is only using our body weight. And while for many women doing exercises like chaturanga, kind of push-up, will become for many months or years a perfect exercise that can develop strength with our body weight. And if you want, you can find a great tutorial for women over 14-50 on doing push-ups from zero on my channel. But we know that muscles are responding to progressive overload. And to make really work the muscles of our body, we need an additional weight. We actually need to increase our load gradually with time. Doing only yoga will not give you that resistance. So we can use dumbbells, we can use resistance bands, we can use also body weight progressions for small muscles like arms and shoulders in women. And the third thing that may happen is that doing yoga as a consequences of constantly stretching, especially the back line of the body, our hamstrings, our glutes, we also end up stretching too much and relaxing too much our pelvic floor muscles. And arriving at midlife, arriving to menopause, many women will have weak pelvic floor muscles. And if we add some more yoga stretching on top of that, it may exaggerate the problem with all the issues as a consequence, like incontinence or pain, pelvic organ prolapse. So we should change a little bit our yoga practice if we want to sustain and to strengthen our pelvic floor, like doing some kind of squats, like a goddess posture, holding it for 10 or 20 seconds, working in eccentric contraction that will actually strengthen our legs and our pelvic floor muscles. We can also modify some postures, adding a little movement that will engage our muscles so that we are not only stretching it, but also make something to add strength to the movement. So how can we adopt our yoga practice? How can we use it in midlife? We can do 2 yoga sessions during the week. One yoga session may contain postures that will help you to actually stretch your muscles, your leg muscles, to relax your pelvic floor, to compensate strength training that you also need to add to your moving routine. The second yoga session could be a restorative yoga or some yoga sequence that you may do before going to sleep to activate your parasympathetic system to sleep better. Add 2 strength sessions a week, and of course you need to add daily movement that can be simple walking. As I said before, we need to choose some more active styles of yoga. When we're doing the yoga, we actually have choice if we're doing only stretching or if we can add some movements that also give strength to our muscles. Don't be afraid of difficult movements. Don't be afraid of standing postures, of chaturanga, of holding some squat postures like Utkatasana, goddess posture for more breath. From 5 to 10 breaths, you can hold the posture. It will strengthen your pelvic floor muscles and your leg muscles. We need to add balance postures to improve our balance. We need to make standing postures that will improve our stability and strengthen our feet. And of course, we need to integrate breathing into our movement and make some breathing exercises separately at the beginning or at the end of our yoga practice. In this way, we can use yoga to regulate our nervous system, improve our pelvic floor health, improve our functional mobility and our balance. And we will improve our awareness, our interoception. So what we need to do is actually build our practice in a way that serves our body in this period of life, whether you started from zero or you make changes after years of practice. So leave me a comment because I'd like to know if you have noticed some changes in the way your body reacts to your practice, or if you are considering starting yoga practice from zero in your 40s and 50s. And leave me a comment if you want me to cover how we can combine yoga practice with strength training at home, and I will cover this in my next video.